twice.
I guess it's only a pattern after it happens the third time.
There you go. But still huge projects that
turned out to be huge,
yeah. Really great. I'm sure The Walking Dead was so fulfilling.
Yeah.
And to get to play such a fun character, very gnarly and rough, but also powerful.
And funny.
You have so many good one-liners.
Funny, like not in a world that is not funny.
Right?
You know, it's been very, The Walking Dead fan base and production crew and producers and the network itself have been amazing to me, and so much so that last spring I was invited there to direct.
That's so cool.
So I've directed an episode last year that has since aired, and it looks like I'm going to be going back again next year.
How is it to go back and direct the people that you worked with?
For me, it was amazing. You know, it was really amazing. Had a lot of trust with, when I came over to the show initially, the other actors knew who I was, and I got along with everyone. So they're coming at it from going, okay, here's a guy with, over 25 years of experience as an actor, that, and most of my work has been, pretty well received. So they're not hesitant about that. They're like, okay, we know he understands us. So there's sort of like a familiarity and a trust, I think, that's built into just having the history behind me and the relationship that they have. But the crew was great. Everybody, it was just set up for success in the sense of everybody was really rooting for me, and I busted my butt doing my prep, so I would not look like a fool. I mean, I've been on the other end of seeing directors come in that don't do their prep, which, for whatever reason, whether that's how they work or they got hung up on something else, they just finished another project, because you start to realize once you've directed, you realize how circumstances can make it so your prep is affected. They might not have gotten a script, till the last minute. A script could have radically changed. They might not have been in town. They might have, had a completely different concept of what they wanted to do, and that was changed. So it's not always just the director's fault, but the director is the one who is at the helm, and you want to at least project an air of being in charge and having a handle 100%. On it, even if you don't, because there's times where you're just making decisions, on the fly because you have to, and you've done so much prep and you've worked out so many different scenarios of what if. Okay, we're going to do this, and then something happens, and typically it's something that you guys talked about, so you can roll right back into the other plan.
Got it.
So it's not like, oh, you're sort of like, okay, we'll do this now, and everyone's like, yeah, okay, great. So it's just keep everything moving forward and focused, and be ready with the answers, because the questions are coming.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. And then are you super hands-on with the actors?
Super hands-on. Yeah, I love it.
Look at you, you're like...
No, I love it. I had such a great time directing, and had worked with some really, really talented people. And just, I think when you have that sort of perfect situation, everybody just, does better work.
100%. Yeah. Are you going to try to direct on The Kids Are All Right?
If I do, it won't be till second season.
Okay.
I need to really understand. I spoke with them about it when I came in, that this is what I was doing, and they actually had to carve out time so I could do my Walking Dead. That's why we started our season so late. I said, look, I'm going to do the pilot, but if we get picked up, I do have this thing scheduled already. Can we work around it? And they were like, yeah, no problem.
Oh,
and then Disney was like, well, we need to make sure. And then in the end, they were like, oh, yeah, we're fine. So it's all good.
Oh, thank you. And now we have to get to our rapid fire questions.
Boxer briefs. Sorry.
What did you say, both? You wear them both at the same time?
Boxer briefs. You've never seen a boxer brief?
I thought you said, yes, I have seen a boxer brief. Blondes.
What? You've never seen a boxer briefs? It's really weird.
Tidy whitey.
It was really weird. He was talking about and he just stood up and dropped his pants. The interview was going so well. It's just like the wheels came off the bus.
That would have been really interesting. Okay, so one is you've worked with iconic people like Robert Redford, Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks. What did you learn from them, and what do you think is something you can walk away from as why they're so great?
Tom, I think he's sort of an example of humbleness and grace, just in his daily life. I think if everyone can sort of strive to be more like Tom Hanks, to have more Tom Hanks in your life and in your personality, I think you'll be fine. The world would be a better place if we could all have just a little bit more Tom Hanks in our lives. Robert Redford had said something to me that I didn't until recently when I directed realize how profound and true it was. He had said, I did A River Runs Through. It was one of the first films I ever did, and I showed up on set, and I had done some rehearsing of the scene, and I said, I think it would be really cool if I came over here and sat down and did this from over here. And he's like, oh, and he looks around, and he's like, okay, yeah, let's run it. So we ran it, and he's like, 100%. He goes, okay, it's gonna take a couple hours. We need to move all the track. We had set up for something else. And I go, no, what do you, I could stay over. He goes, no. That's why you're here. I go, that's why I'm here. He goes, yeah. He goes, directing's easy if you do all your prep. Comes back to what we were talking about, the prep.
Yes.
He goes, if I hire a DP who shares my vision, and I have actors who I've hired who I know who are in the room, and I'm able to direct them to share my vision, and the wardrobe shares my vision, and the art department shares my vision. He goes, when I show up, all I have to do is shoot it.
Wow.
Now that is obviously oversimplifying everything.
Totally.
But the idea of surrounding yourself with people that share your vision and are enthusiastic about the project you want to do is what's important.
And
because
trusting
that,
them.
yes, and that's what makes it easy. He goes, I brought you in here because you are who I wanted to play the role, and you feel you need to be here. We just rehearsed it. It's great. This is what it should be. I'm not going to try to force you to do what I think it was going to be.
Wow.
So I'm like, holy crap.
Taking that note.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I was just like, oh, okay. You know, I was like 11 years old. I wasn't 11, but I was like, Robert Redford, holy crap. I'm talking to Robert Redford. But years later, you realize, oh, yeah.
That's what he was talking about. Wow. Okay. So then what's the most difficult decision you've had to make to fulfill your greater purpose?
Oh, I don't know. Most difficult decision. I don't know.
Do you need me to come back to that one?
Yeah, let's come back to that one. I may stick with I don't know. Because I'm not going to make something up. I mean, I could even make something up, and then but that would be out here forever. Then it would be on the internet and stuff. And be like, well, you said. I don't know.
Well, all right. We'll think about it, and if not at the end of this interview, then maybe you'll marinate.
I'll phone in.
And you'll come back, and then we'll.
I'll put it in the comment section.
Okay, what are your keys to success?
Keep yourself happy, whatever that means. You know, I always say, you know, I've done a few sort of lectures. I don't know what you call it. I've spoken at a couple of events, and I get asked by young actors, what would you recommend? You know, and I always say, keep yourself in a position to be hired, and that means keeping yourself happy. That means that if you have a job that you are miserable at, go find a job that you love, because then you'll be happy, even if it's not making the kind of money you need to be making. Because you need to be in a place where when the luck or the opportunity happens, you need to be ready for it. And nothing is more tangible in a room than fear.
Yep.
And unhappiness.
Interesting.
And and you come in a room, and you got to remember, these people are looking to find someone who not only can do the work, but somebody that you're going to spend 14, 15 hours a day with. And you're like, that person? All that negative energy when you come into a room? Yeah, bye-bye. Good luck to you.
So true. I feel like I wish I had heard that years ago. I mean, now I don't, but back in the day, early on in my career, I was waitressing, and I hated it.
Yeah, can't get
And
out of it.
I should have.
Because there's a lot of people who love it. That's the thing. It's not about. It's not about. Don't do that. It's
No,
like
I
don't
agree.
do
It's just for
like what
me.
makes you miserable.
Yeah. No, I'm
Yeah.
not saying that in like a
Yeah.
negative way for
No.
people
I know,
to do it.
but I would say to people out there, you go, I mean, I would have loved, had I not done construction, I would have loved to have been a bartender. Because I just love talking to people, but then there's people who are like, oh, my bartender's not going to blow my brains out. And you're like,
Yeah,
well, then stop. And they go, but the money's good, and I just hate it. I go, yeah, but you hate it. You hate it. It's like it's toxic.
Good advice. Okay, what do you do for inspiration?
Inspiration? Mm-hmm. I don't know if I do anything for inspiration. I do stuff for relaxation. I find, I share this with a buddy of mine, Frank John Hughes, a screenwriter, also an actor.
Yeah.
We both actually go to like big cities or like Vegas to relax.
What?
Inside all of the noise and confusion, I'm able to find calm. sometimes when I go out to calm places, if I go to the mountains, when I go snowboarding or this and that, sometimes when it's too, I have to get back to the city. I'm like, I can't take this quiet. It's like
too much.
The quiet is too noisy.
That's interesting. Yeah. Maybe that's why I love cities so much.
Yeah, I get off a plane and I get into Manhattan. If I get a meeting or a project or something, I would just throw on my jacket, my hat, my scarf, and I would just cruise on down to Times Square. And I'm just like, and there's just like all these people. I'm just like, yeah,
this is amazing.
Perfect.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your greatest failure, and what did it teach you?
My greatest failure. I worked on a project, and I won't name the project. And it was a shared failure because it was like I actually was cast in a project but didn't know I was cast in the project until I got my call.
Okay.
And like, okay, you're calling for sizes. So sizes for what? Oh, you're working Monday. Working Monday? It's Sunday afternoon. Project I was hired on had a 4-page monologue, had to deliver.
Oh, wow.
And it was the audition material. Showed up to work in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, hadn't slept, working on the material, couldn't say one word of it. Not one word of it. I was literally like, I was that guy. And it was horrible. And then I changed the way I work, preparation-wise, for being on set after that, even though it had nothing to sort of do with me.
Right.
But,
because that doesn't.
Wound up writing a letter to the writer. Wound up working with the director years later. He was like, "Oh my God, I'd seen your work," and he goes, "I thought you were on drugs." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." I was just like, "What the hell is wrong with this kid?" Yeah,
wow.
It was horrible.
It was just you were probably exhausted.
Totally.
You couldn't think, and all this pressure.
No, stress and anxiety. And
yeah.
It's like a whole confluence or convergence of crappy stuff. It was bad.
So it's
sort of like, but it was not inflicted. They inflicted it on me, but I just didn't. It was literally like, yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
So now you've just changed the process, maybe to get yourself in a more zen.
Exactly, to take everything a little less serious, and that calmness and that sort of ease with it helps me function better with stressful situations.
Okay, the last question. Mm-hmm. If you could define the legacy you want to leave behind in a couple of words, what would it be?
Oh, I want my kids to be happy.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's really sweet. Do you think they're happy?
Yeah.
Aww.
I think they're finding it, but I think they are. And I want them, like in their lives, I want them to find happiness. To me, that's success. Mm-hmm. I want them to do whatever they choose to do. And when they're trying to achieve that, I want them to be happy along the way.
That's really beautiful.
It's that old, what is it? Life is what happens while you're waiting for your life to happen.
Yeah. So true. You want your kids, to bring this full circle, like he said in The Kids Are All Right, he wants his kids to reach for the stars.
Absolutely. That's honestly, it's probably why that affected me so much.
100%.
Because it spoke to me.
Well, thank you. And thank you for being here. And tell everybody to go watch The Kids Are All Right.
ABC, Tuesdays at 8:30.
And I'm here to tell you, it's effing amazing.
It's
Do
funny.
not miss it.
Ton of
Go
heart.
watch it. And thank you, Michael, for being
Thank you.
here.
Thanks
You're
for
the
having
man.
me. Thank you.
Bye. We have great guests coming up this season. Thanks, guys.